questions are kind of yes or no questions. And the idea of that is simply to have candidates fall on one side or the other, if they can, of a topic. And if a brief explanation is needed, that is okay. We're just really looking for that yes or no. And then if you had question 6, do you favor the incorporation of private, charter, or independent schools within the public school authorities?
I'm not sure I can answer that with a lot of knowledge, because if they fall within the public school authority, then what's the point of having the charter schools? Like, if they're not its own division, is that, you know?
Yeah, I think where the question came from when it was suggested was the idea of public tax dollars funding
Okay.
programs outside, or I shouldn't call it outside the division, but funding something that is separately funded as well. So you would have your private school, you would receive fees for that school, but then you would also receive government funding.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I think parents should have options. The money should follow the student, right? Regardless of what the student is attending, as long as they're in school. And like homeschooling, for instance, the money is not the issue for parents, because they're getting $900 a year, up to $900 a year per child. So I think that money should be the same regardless of what parents choose. If they're homeschooling, then they should get that $13,500 to homeschool their child. And perhaps if that happened, more parents would be able to stay at home with their children to homeschool, relieving some of the oversized classrooms. Yeah.
That's an interesting question. So that was the one that you told me about ahead of time, and I had a chance to mull it over a little bit. I think choice is a very important part of education. And I wrote online recently a little bit about charter schools, and I do see a lot of value in the concept behind them. I don't love the implementation of them, but private schools I'm not as favorable towards in general, especially with taxpayer money going to that. I don't think that public dollars should be going to subsidize private schools. About the specific question about whether I would support incorporation of them into the division, I think that really has to be on a case-by-case basis. I think that if the direction came or the decision came to incorporate those and bring those into the public system, we would certainly be up for that. Like, we would be up for the challenge. We would work to implement that direction. But I don't think it's something that I would have direct control over in any sense, or really much input on. What I will say is that in our division, I think you see a couple schools that in another world they easily could have been charter schools. So the ones that I'm thinking of are the Christian school and the Montessori. So at Parkside, you see a lot of charter schools which are Montessori focused for their education. And I think there could be a world out there where those are charter schools inside the city, self-selecting that parents would go to if they want that kind of education. But I think our division is stronger for it by finding a way to manage those programs and maintain that element of what parents are looking for, keep those programs and the programming that they want, even if sometimes it comes with fees, like with our Parkside program for Montessori-based learning. Finding a way to support the Christian education that the Christian school is dedicated to providing. And I think our division is stronger for it. So in principle, am I in favor of combining some of these schools together under the public umbrella? I could be, yes. And if that was the direction that our education system went, we would certainly work to support that as best as possible.
Thank you.
Well, let me just tell you, we just talked about the Christian school. So they are an example of a school that we've had the pleasure of them sort of becoming a part of Grand Prairie School Division, and I think there's been so many advantages for each. I believe in public education. It's a platform that I'm standing on, public education for everyone, and so I want equitable resources for all students, equal pay and working conditions for teachers, and quality education for all. And so I would prefer if it was all public education, but certainly if there is a group that would like to have a particular a school I would love to be the division that could work together with them, but it would be equitable, and it would fit sort of the vision, mission, values, and the principles that we hold in Grand Prairie Public.
Thank you.
No, I like the idea. I like the idea that they're testing and tweaking and being able to pivot more easily. And then some of those learnings would then be applied in the public school district. But for the funding model that we have, I don't want to see it on charter schools, and I definitely don't want to see an opportunity for schools that are charging students to attend in a two-tier system within our district. No.
Like, I'm kind of yes and no on that, because honestly, I don't have a lot of knowledge on this. So I did some research, and it looks like the public and charter fall pretty much within the same category. You know, they're both publicly funded, government funded. The only difference, I think, is charter schools don't collect the municipal tax school levies. So I'm all in favor, and I'm all in favor of like parental choice, where they want to send their kids to school and what works best for the families. But I kind of have a problem with the more independently funded schools. The fully funded is fine. They're not funded at all by the government or anybody. They're fully funded by tuition. So I mean, they're sort of out of the picture here. But I take issue, I guess, with the partially funded schools, partially independent, because yeah, they can use policies to discriminate against certain students, beliefs. I don't agree with that. So yeah.
Thank you.
I would answer no. And the reason why I answered that is, while I feel it's important that parents have a choice for what they would like for their child as far as meeting needs and interests, I think that our school district offers many options within our community to meet these diverse needs. I also was doing a little homework on that, and some of the funding, and I encourage other people to do their homework with this and research this, from our public schools may be affected by that. The other thing that I researched, and I just would like to say, is that some of the options that we have within our own community is the Montessori. We have the Montessori schools, we have Christian schools, we have a STEM program which integrates science and technology and mathematics for junior high. We have French immersion, the Academy, which is athletics, golf, and hockey. We have a music program for grades 5 to 8. Apprenticeship programs through the high school, and an international baccalaureate, which is through Composite High.
Well, thank you.
Yes, I think that there's an opportunity there. I think that, I use the analogy of, purchasing a new vehicle, right? Is that there's so many different dealerships, makes, models, and things that suit families better or meet their needs, right? And so I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all looking for a safe and reliable vehicle to get us down the road, and that hopefully will help us end up in the same destination, right? But for me to say that you need to have a certain type of vehicle isn't necessarily the correct path, right? So we need to make sure that there's options there for people. I definitely support public education, that's first and foremost. But I mean, what that looks like, I think that people should have options to suit their needs.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that one I put some thought into. Yes. If they are receiving public funding, public money requires public oversight. That's how taxes are supposed to work. If we're pooling our money together for a common good, there should be public accountability for it. Section 33 of the Education Act requires boards to be accountable to the public. And if they are getting that money, then they should also apply. But here's the problem of how that's currently unfolding. Okay, the ministerial order that's the standards that we're all supposed to be living up to, says that we aim to deliver world-class education for every student while expanding choice. That doesn't mean before. So we are expanding choice and increasingly funding that private and charter portion of the budget faster than we're funding the public. So that's not while, that's instead of, right? So if we're supposed to follow ministerial orders as written, we need to ensure world-class public education for the 95% of the kids who are in our systems.
Thank you.
I would like to answer this yes or no, but I feel in order to do that, I have to explain.
Okay.
As it stands currently, no.
Okay.
If it was, I do like the idea of programs of choice. So for instance, we already have French immersion, Montessori, those types of things. But I think if charter schools are going to fall under the public domain, they need to play by the same rules.
Okay.
Right? So I think there needs to be the exact same things that public schools face, right? The things that they are able to do in a charter school by limiting class size. You know, they can have a different pay grid, let's say, for their teachers. They don't necessarily have, they don't have boards. I think if they're going to play by the same rules, there could be a benefit to it. But as it stands now, no, I don't like the way that it rolls out.
Right. Thank you.
Not private. Private is private. If you want to go to private school, you should pay for private school. Charter schools and academy schools, they are different. And I do think they hone into a specific learning environment. And I can accept those ones, but not private.
Okay.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe, under certain conditions. I know we have a Christian school here in the Grand Prairie School Division. We have the Montessori School, under certain conditions. The private and charter or independent school you're talking about would have to work with our board, with our central office administration to coordinate programs, curriculum, staffing, and a bunch of other considerations. They'd have to hire ATA members. They'd have to teach the Alberta curriculum. They'd have to be willing to work within board policy. We'd have to have a chat with them about fees, about admission requirements and access to their programs, and how their program and their school fits into the broader picture of the school division, and make sure that everyone's needs are looked for. But to welcome them under the umbrella of public education is probably a good thing. It's a good thing for society.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.